Hello students, I shall be explaining to you the theorem given in lecture 1 of unit 4. Theorem says that let F be a field of characteristic 0 and let V be a finite dimensional vector space over F. L is a Lie algebra of linear transformations in LV such that L star is semi-simple. L star means the associative algebra generated by L, and L star is semi-simple means that radical of L star is 0. And just to remind you, the radical of L star is the nilpotent ideal of maximal dimension in L star. So if L star is semi-simple, then L is a direct sum of L1 and Z, where Z equal to ZL is the center of L and L1 is an ideal of L which is semi-simple. So radical of L1 is 0, and here by radical of L1 we mean the solvable ideal of maximal dimension in L1, because L1 is ideal of L and L is a Lie algebra. So here radical of L1 means solvable ideal of maximal dimension in L1. Now to begin the proof, first of all we take C. C is the radical of L, that is the solvable ideal of maximal dimension in L. First of all we suppose that C is not equal to Z. So C is not equal to center of L. So then obviously C1, which is L comma C, will not be 0. Now C is solvable ideal of L. So C1 contained in C is solvable. So there exists a positive integer n such that C1n is 0 but C1n minus 1 is not equal to 0. C1n is the nth term of the derived series of C1. So C1n is 0 and we assume that C1n minus 1 is non-zero and we call this C2. C2 is C1n minus 1. So let C3 be C2 comma L. So this is obviously contained in C2 because C2 is an ideal of L. So if T belongs to C3, C3 is this, then T is a finite sum of the Lie commutators AI comma BI, where AI is in C2 and BI is in L. Now this T comma AI, T is in C3, AI is in C2. So T comma AI is in C3 comma C2 and C3 is contained in C2. So this is in C2 comma C2 and C2 comma C2 will be C1n, which is 0. So T comma AI is 0 for all I equal to 1 to R, and hence T is nilpotent. This is by the lemma which I explained to you earlier. So now T is an element of C3, C3 is an ideal of L and L is a Lie algebra of linear transformations in LV. That means L is a weakly closed set in LV, dimension of V is finite and T is an element of the ideal C3 of L. So we are showing T is nilpotent, that means every element of C3 is nilpotent. So by theorem of lecture 6 in unit 3, C3 is contained in C3 star is contained in R, which is the radical of L star, and L star is semi-simple, so this R is 0, that means C3 is 0. C3 0 means C2 is contained in the center of L, so C2 is contained in Z. Now this is an important argument and this will be repeated 3 times in the proof of this theorem. Next we have C2. C2 is C1 to the power n minus 1. C2 is C1 n minus 1. So this is contained in C1. And C1 is, you can see here, C1 is L comma C. L comma C is obviously contained in L comma L, which is L dash. So if T is in C2, then T is sum I equal to 1 to R AI comma BI, where AI and BI are elements of L. So T comma AI, T is in C2, AI is in L. So T comma AI is in C2 comma L and C2 is in the center of L. So C2 comma L is 0. So T comma AI is 0 for all I equal to 1 to R. That means T is nilpotent by the lemma that I mentioned earlier. So again by the same logic which we have repeated here, C2 is contained in C2 star is contained in R and R is 0. So C2 is 0. But we assume that C2 is non-zero. So this is a contradiction to the assumption that C is not equal to Z. So C is equal to Z. Next we take T. T is in L dash intersection C. So T is summation AI BI because T is in L dash. So T is summation AI BI I1 to R where AI and BI are in L. Then T comma AI. T is in C also. So T comma AI is in C comma L. But C is center of L. So C comma L is 0. So again T becomes nilpotent and we again apply the theorem of lecture 6 in unit 3. So L dash intersection C is 0. So there is a subspace L1 of L containing L dash such that L is equal to L1 direct sum C and C is Z. So this is L1 direct sum Z. See, L dash intersection C is 0. So L dash will be contained in L1. L dash contained in L1 implies that L1 comma L which is in L comma L, that is L dash, and L dash is again in L1. So L1 comma L is in L1, that means L1 is an ideal of L. And from this direct sum we can see that L1 is L comma C, and L comma C all of you know is always semi-simple. So this L1 is semi-simple. So this completes the proof of the theorem. I think that you have understood this. So I stop here.